Angry Bears Fan Podcast, episode 87. Big win for the Bears. 36-10. Before we jump into it, like, follow, subscribe, keep up the work. We're doing great. But with your games, it comes the falls. YouTube is on our ass for using, I guess, NFL's content. So I'll have to do a little bit more research on what I can and cannot use or how I have to edit it. But like I said, big win for the Bears. Um, did what they were supposed to do. I don't know if big win's the word, but exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah, and it was much needed for not just Caleb, but for Shane Waldron and the offense in general. They needed a little bit of a breakout game. And I look, I get the people out there saying, oh, but it was against the Panthers. It was against the Panthers. It doesn't matter. It's an NFL team. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. Look what the Giants just did to the Seahawks in Seattle. I mean, these kinds of things happen where bad teams, beat better teams. They upset them, especially on the road. It just happens. And for the Bears, for them to not let that happen and actually put together like good offensive game from beginning to end, with the exception of that first drive where they went 3-and-out. Caleb only took one sack. That was on the first drive of the game. Bill Murray, once Tevin Jenkins went out, I don't know if kind of watched some of the highlights and stuff like that, but he was all over the place. I mean, he was looking for people to block after he successfully pancaked his man. He wasn't just standing around like we see Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis, doing periodically through the season. He's actively looking for people to block, and that was a good thing to see. Caleb, 20 of 29, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers again. That seems to be the formula, no turnovers. We've won every game so far that he has not had a turnover. This week we got Jacksonville in London. The Bears are already over there. We are missing Jaquan Brisker, who still might play. It just depends if he can pass concussion protocol and then fly over and meet the team. I still would not expect him to play this week,
No, I don't
but
think so.
we need to keep that momentum. Great offensive showing for the Bears. DJ Moore, 2 touchdown catches. That was a very positive, encouraging thing to see. Caleb completed passes to like 7 different receivers, so it's not like he was
Yeah.
just owning in on one guy. One thing I will talk about real quick is last week you and I kind of talked about the whole Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, Caleb Williams, Shane Waldron thing, and you know what two offenses, what they're being asked to do. I know we kind of touched up on it a little bit with Jaden running, the college offense that he was running at LSU, and Cliff Kingsbury just kind of running with it. Caleb's being asked to do a lot more. This isn't, just one read, either touchdown or check down like we were talking about. Caleb's being asked to make adjustments at the line. Caleb's being asked to audible. Caleb's being asked to play intermediate of the field as opposed to deep throws or checkdowns. So I think there is a little bit to be said there with what the quarterbacks are being asked to do. There's two completely different things. That it's like Caleb's taking the honors course and Jaden Daniels is taking the regular course, even though Jaden Daniels is acing the regular course. It is a little bit more sophisticated of an offense that Caleb is running and what he is being asked to do. They are not the same thing. I will give Jaden Daniels his props. He's still doing extremely well at what he's being asked to do, but let's not pretend that they're being asked to do the same thing, and we need to stop comparing them as such. I'm not taking anything away from Jaden Daniels, but we need to stop that comparison and let it play out till the end of the season before we even say anything about did the Bears take the wrong quarterback story that a lot of the national media is pushing out because they need some views.
Well, I'll agree with we can hold off the debate for if we took the wrong guy because I mean, he is great as Jaden Daniels play. Caleb looks amazing. I kind of disagree with the analogy with the honors course kind of thing. It's just like there's I don't know if that's a good analogy. He's being asked to do it that way because he's got a lot less. I mean, the Bears are a better team in general, so they
He's
kind
got a
of
lot.
have
What do
to.
you mean he's got a lot less?
I mean, he's got
Well, what are you
a
talking about?
worse defense,
A
worse.
So quarterback's playing defense now all of a
Well, I
sudden.
mean, that's part
I'm
of your
talking about
game.
the offense, running the
Yes,
offense.
but if you have a bad defense, you play complementary, run the football, check down. That's how you play to win. That's how what I would do if I had a good defense. That's what Justin Fields is being asked to do, right? They have a good defense.
Because Justin Fields couldn't read a defense and look what he's doing now. He's doing the same thing he was doing in Chicago, and
I don't agree
he
with
has.
that, but that game, yes. But
what are you talking
I mean
about?
that game in
You don't know
particular, yeah.
about that.
I mean, yeah, but it was a 2 rain delay ring. I don't know. Like I said, I don't. He played good. Like he wasn't
two
doing
completely different styles of offense.
yes,
that these
but you don't
quarterbacks are
get
being asked to play.
yes, but saying it's the honor course. No, the NFL is the honor course. It don't matter how you get it done. You don't get like
Yes,
wins don't count more if you play in a dumbed down offense or not. Like wins count the
No, they
same.
don't. Like I said, I'm not taking away anything from Jaden Daniels, but
Well,
we
you
need to
are when you're
stop
saying he's doing it to
but
Kitty.
we need to
He's doing it
stop
to
with the
he's.
comparison.
I mean, we can't stop with the comparison.
He's doing
because
what
they're
he's
the
being
1 and
asked
2
to do,
quarterback.
but it is not the same thing that the Bears are asking Caleb Williams to do. It's not, and that's
No,
just fact.
that's fine. That doesn't mean any like that doesn't. I know very few players are getting asked to. Joe Burrow's not getting asked to do the same thing that Pat Mahomes is getting asked to do. Like they're different things. Um, so I don't like I said that's apples and oranges. Yes, their offense are different, but teams' offense are always going to be different. They're going to be doing different things. They got different coaches. They got
That's
different
not what
personnel.
I'm saying. I'm saying what he's asked to do within the offense, what he's asked to learn, is different than what Caleb's is in terms of overall quarterback play. Running a one read offense where if your first read isn't is Jaden Daniels going to his second or third reads on any of his passes? No,
I
he's
can't
not.
pretend that I'm watching all the games. So I won't say if he is or he isn't. What I'm saying is, it's really irrelevant because
it's not irrelevant.
like when you're using honor core and like things like that, it's like no, like you get the same. That's why I don't like the Justin's in this year, Caleb's in this year. Can't be compared. Like the wins count the same no matter what year you are.
The wins count the same, but the eye test doesn't. It's not the same. Caleb already in week 5 looks better as a quarterback than Justin did in 3 years.
Sure, I wasn't saying that. Yes, well, I'm not. Well, I'm just saying like.
But you just said we couldn't use that.
No, I didn't say we. No, I said that wins don't count differently. So when we're comparing them,
I didn't disagree with that.
Yeah, but I agree that Caleb has been better and all that. I just said that last game. If I'm not going to pretend like I didn't see the last 4 games of Justin and this one be the one like, well, that's how they always look at Chicago. Well, we were outmatched a lot in Chicago, so maybe sometimes when they feel outmatched, that's what he looks like. So I don't know. But I do think Jaden's doing his thing, and I do think Caleb is doing great. And like I said, it's a different style of offense. I don't know exactly what Kingsbury is doing. I know it's a little more intricate than that.
It's not. I'm just saying it's not.
But whatever it is, they're both only doing it on bad teams. So we'll get a test with some better teams, but all the Bears and the Redskins are both beating up on teams that are down in the luck and shitty teams. Andy Dalton had 12 yards through the first quarter.
That was bad to watch.
They got a bad receiving core. Their defense is okay, but DJ Moore was just a terror in the game. And Caleb looked, like I said, again, great. I'm not trying to downplay Caleb at all. I just think Jaden Daniels is really good, and I'm not to say that I want him or Caleb or I wanted him over Caleb. I don't think I really ever said that, but I do think what he's doing is impressive because I think it's a little easy to say like, oh, they just dumbed it down. Well, then why couldn't Tyler Huntley do good? Like you can't just dumb it down and like anybody can do it. Like you still have to be really good at doing the dumbed down version.
I'm not saying I'm not saying he's a bad player. Like I said, I'm not taking anything for him to have an 80% completion percentage as a rookie, regardless of the offense that you're running, is absolutely ridiculous. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is a very athletic kid. He's very gifted. And he's giving what the defense gives him. And that's all you really need to do as a rookie quarterback is give.
Well, I just think a quarterback in general, like that's where I'm like not putting these. And like I said, I don't know. I guess like the analogy, like I think it would be more like Caleb's like Anderson Silva and Jaden Daniels is Chael Sonnen. Like they got one. Like there's one that you can win the fight all types of ways, but wrestling a guy down and you're only a wrestler and that works just fine. It gets the job done just like if you do it all fancy and it looks better and it's more intricate. Um, but I don't like this. Like Cam Newton always had a simple off. Like yeah, when you have guys like that that are freaks, you don't want to take running off the table, even though we've never seen a guy like that win. But I think that's old logic now. Like, yes, in the past, and Patrick Mahomes obviously is a dog, and Tom Brady was the GOAT. So it's hard to use those two guys as metrics. But I think in this day and age, all these guys are dual threats. Even Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he doesn't dominate with his feet, but when it counts, he makes huge plays running it because he's mobile and he just knows used it to extend plays. But I do think soon we're going to see Lamar win, Jaden Daniels win. These guys who can run it because I think it's a different NFL. I just think Tom Brady was really good, and then Patrick Mahomes came along, so it kind of carried the mantra if you needed, um, you don't need a conventional pocket passer to win. But I don't know if that's always the case.
Let's talk about the defense a little bit during this game. Turnovers. Jaquan Brisker absolutely laid dude out. I
Yeah,
forget the tight end's name.
himself as well.
Oh God, he completely cleaned his clock. Probably set him back to being 8 years old. Kevin Byard with that ridiculous looking interception. That was a great pick on his part. The interior defensive line got some pressure. And I know a lot of people again are saying Carolina, it's against Carolina. You guys got to understand Carolina has one of the better interior offensive lines in the league. They spent a lot of money on that interior of the offensive line. And prior to the Bears game, that Bryce Young wasn't getting touched unless it was, self-created sacks. Andy Dalton wasn't getting pressured.
Yeah, I mean, who did they play last week? I forgot who they lit up, or they lit up the Raiders the week before. But I agree with you. It's a win, NFL win, and the sign of a good team is you do that to the bad team. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to go out there and tussle with these guys. So it was good to see him do that. But again, it was the Panthers, and although they have good players, they're just down. So that's where I would say that's when you know they're down. They know their season's over. They got Andy Dalton in at quarterback. That's never a good sign in 2024. The guy you thought the franchises are going to be there. Like it's a lot of shit's going on, but they have a decent D line. They have a decent O line, and our guys in the trenches won that battle, and that's what we wanted to see. Javon Dexter, I think he had 2 sacks.
It was like a sack and a half or something like that.
Sack and a half, bunch of pressures. He looks good.
Billings had a bunch of pressures and
yes, Austin
pressures
Booker looking like he's going to be good. Just everybody was flying around. The secondary looked real good. I don't know who's going to replace Brisker.
Jonathan Owens.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But we need to carry that momentum. The Jags finally got a win, but they're not a good team either. Mm-hmm. They don't really have they got a pretty solid defensive line. Javon Walker's a first round overall pick, physical freak, but nothing crazy. But we need to shut them down like we've been doing, continue that. I know I was looking at a crazy stat. I mean, it's crazy for the Bears, but it's even more crazy because Kansas City doubled them. But I'm pretty sure it's games with less than 21 points or consecutive.
Yeah, 21 points or less allowed.
Yeah, and the Bears are at 10 consecutive. I think this is about 10 or 11 now. KC's at 25, which is ridiculous. That's including the playoffs, which is just crazy. They haven't given up more than 22 points since the Super Bowl against the Eagles. So that's crazy. But the Bears are in that conversation, 10 games in a row, under 21 points. So seeing what we're seeing from Caleb is just great because all we need is 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals. We win the game. And looking like Caleb and DJ Moore and all these guys are definitely going to be able to do that. DeAndre Swift, we kind of skipped over that, but he has been they finally found his niche. I don't know what the blocking scheme or what they started. Maybe they just know more with
outside zone.
They've been passing him the ball too as well.
Yeah, they stopped running outside zone.
That's what he's best at. That's a quarterback's best friend. These tight end running back dump balls where it's like we weren't doing enough of that, and now we are. And the offense is really opening up, and nobody can guard DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Roma Dunze.
Well, no, especially because now NFL defenses are going to two deep safeties, right? You're throwing these dink and dunk passes to your tight end on a dump off or your running back on a dump off. You got a running game going. One of those safeties is going to have to come up into the box of the line of scrimmage, and they're going to have to play one high safety, and that's where you get those crossers. That's where you get the go routes. You know what I'm saying? That opens up the offense, and they needed to start doing that, like you said. And the offense has opened up. I know you sent me a message during the game, that first touchdown pass to DJ Moore. You're like, finally a fucking crossing route.
Because
And it's
that's what
like,
the
where
rook.
has
That's
that
like
been?
rookie's best friend too. Like that's the easy shit we needed. Like we're not doing double crosser, but easy read. What happened? Keenan like bumped DJ's guy, or the guy went to run out of Keenan's way, and it's like these guys don't want to tackle DJ Moore in the open field either. They're just jogging out there.
Mm-hmm.
That and like I really like to see that, and then a big touchdown pass, great throw, right on the dot. I mean, you see everything that they're advertising, and I mean, he
Well,
looks at that.
the most impressive part of that throw was the fact that he looked right to start off. As soon as he got the ball, he drew the safety to the right side of the field with his eyes, and then went immediately back to the left and threw that ball to where only DJ Moore could catch it. So it wasn't just the throw. He was using his eyes to deceive the safety and to go into the right side of the field, opening up that throw. And a lot of people, it looks like a casual NFL throw when you know what I'm saying, because DJ Moore was one-on-one with that guy. But when you factor in everything in terms of looking off the safety and then going back to DJ, that's a lot more of a process than people realize. And that was just all around in terms of offense, man. That was a very exciting game to watch. I mean, you're putting up 27 points in the first half alone. And, when's the last time we've had that? It's been
Yeah,
a while since we've had that. And,
yes.
we don't need to do that consistently. Like you said, the Bears defense has given up 21 or less points the last 10 straight games. You only need 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals, like you said. But would it be nice to know that we have that in our back pocket with the second half of the schedule coming up against the Packers, Vikings, and Lions twice,
Yeah, the
against the
Niners,
San Francisco
and they're gonna need
49ers?
it, and they need that win too.
Like
Um,
it's gonna be,
it's gonna be good. He's getting a lot of practice. The Vikings are blitzing.
oh
Packers,
yeah.
the
And that's
Packers
another
think
thing.
they
That's
have their
another thing we
number. They
didn't talk
pin their
about.
ears back against us.
And that's another thing we haven't talked about, is that Caleb Williams against the Blitz, the last 3 weeks has been, I want to say,
I think 17 and 19 for
the
200
top
yards or
the
something
top
like
of
that.
the top of the
Yeah,
NFL against the Blitz, or at least top
but
five
that's a
against.
little different. What Brian Flores is bringing is something he ain't seen
Oh,
yet.
I
So,
I completely understand, but
but it's been
teams
good.
now against the Blitz, he knows where his outlets are. He knows
Yes.
where his fire routes are, and that was such a great sound clip from Coleman Shelton during the game. I mean, when I heard that, I had to do a double
Yes.
take to the TV. I was like, did I just hear that? Because that was pretty cool. We got fucking fire, man. I
Yeah.
know.
It's like, yeah, but it's got to be, like I said, loud and communicating football. Like, but it was good to see that. And Caleb, it was funny to say, I know he's letting his personality out. He's a big goofball on the sideline, on the field, awkward kid. Not the diva that was,
Advertised.
yes, it's advertised. And I even fell victim to that, but he seems like a little nerd. But he is just balling, and it's good to see. We've got something that we haven't had in a long time. We need to do our best to keep this kid healthy, because I don't see, like you said, this isn't like I was defending that, but this isn't some basic offense that he's picking up, and like, oh, maybe next year when teams take that away, it might not work. What he's doing is something that's just going to continue to translate. So, like I said, it looked like we got our guy. Not to say that he'll be Burrow or Mahomes, but at least he'll be top of the, you know what I mean, top 10, and won't be the excuse why we're not winning anymore.
Absolutely. And like I said, this game against the Jaguars in London, Bears faithful is going to show up.
Yeah, I was going to say we travel well
Um,
to London. I'm assuming there's a lot of people from Chicago.
yeah,
Not a
there's
lot,
a
but
whole no, there's I mean, from
well,
what
I
I
just mean
understand.
like as compared to Americans, like out of
Oh
the
yeah.
percentage of Americans, it's probably a lot of people from Chicago or something like that. So I just know every time we go there, there's a lot of people in Bears jerseys.
Yes,
And the
it's
the
majority
fans
Bears
from here
fans.
to travel, they get up and they're like, oh, it's a destination.
It's a
Jags fans
vacation.
though, same thing. Jags though, they have multiple games there. They'll be there for 2 weeks, I think. I think they have back to back games, and so that'll be good, but it'll be good to see out in neutral field. These are some of the games you get tested, like I was saying earlier with Justin Fields and the rain and the delay. Sometimes when like weird shit's happening, you're playing at a different time of the day, you come out flat. and that's the type of thing we don't want to see. We want to see
Well,
keep
that's why
building.
I'm kind of glad they went early.
Yeah,
They left last night. So today was their off day. They'll get to the grind tomorrow. They'll go through walk through on Friday and kick off 8:30 our time on Sunday. And I'm
that's
okay
good.
with that. It
Yeah.
kind of opens up the rest of the day. So I don't know. It depends. If they lose, I'll be in a pissy mood for a long period of time.
Oh no,
Then
we can't. Yeah, like, we got to shit on Trevor because he's the old generational quarterback who didn't pan out. We need to prove that we're not him. Even though they're coming off a pretty decent win for themselves. But all right, it was a pretty, I won't say boring game, but not much happened. All of it happened in the first half. We glazed Caleb enough. He's doing his thing. Maybe he will be rookie of the year. We'll see how it goes. It'll be kind of hard if if they both stay on the
yeah,
pace that they are right now. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels right now. I saw some crazy shit from Chris Broussard on ESPN talking about his ballot right now as it stands today. He would have Jaden Daniels as MVP.
I would have to agree. Who could you say? Maybe
I mean,
Joe. I
that's
mean, they have a losing record, so it's like I would say Joe Burrow's having a really good year, but they got a losing record. Like
yeah, the Bengals
Lamar,
are
I
something
guess.
else.
But even them, they're 3-2. Like I mean, you would have to say Jaden. You just don't think it'll play out like that because that'd be crazy. But I mean, if you've got Jaden at 1, Caleb's got to be like top 5.
He didn't have him top 5. He had it Derrick Henry at 5. Lamar was like 3. I forgot who number 4
Derrick
was.
Henry can't be 5. Running back's not winning, so
Yeah,
it's just a waste of a
that's
spot.
who he had on his ballot. He said
I mean,
Derrick
but
Henry.
Caleb's got, I mean, better numbers than Mahomes. I mean, and I'm not saying he is Mahomes. Just saying like it's hard. Like if we're going on numbers, he's got better numbers than a lot of people. But we have been playing the.
Oh,
Man.
Sam Darnold was number 2. Baker Mayfield was number 4.
Oh yeah, Sam
That's
Darnold.
who. That's who he
Man,
had.
what is going on? What are they going to do? Because JJ McCarthy's a stud. So
Well, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's been playing. He didn't have a great game against the Jets in London. Speaking of the Jets firing Robert Saleh, that's
oh
kind of
yeah, we
funny.
kind of
Aaron Rodgers is definitely pulling the strings in New York because, from what I understand, Robert Saleh was going to fire Nathaniel Hackett, and then he got a phone call. I guess Aaron Rodgers. Woody Johnson, the owner, said that he got a call that he spoke with Aaron Rodgers that had nothing to do with Robert Saleh. But the very next day, Robert Saleh gets fired and then gets escorted out of the building. He could not even talk to the team or the
that
players
was
to let them know what
wild.
happened.
I guess we talk about. Like I really didn't get. I don't get how you don't fire Nathaniel Hackett too. Like
I agree completely.
um
And all this stuff with Devontae Adams, that's yeah. But Sam Darnold, 5-0 with the Vikings. He's on a revenge tour. He didn't play all that great, but he's been having a pretty good
I
season.
mean, if they win 12 games, go to the playoffs, how do they not resign them? And it's like, then what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like Kirk Cousins, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they keep him on the bench and they do you know what I'm saying? They do a Green Bay thing and they just let him sit behind a quarterback for a few years because realistically, if he's playing that good and he's not turning the ball over and you're winning, you're right. How do you
Yeah, but
turn
how does
the
it work that you're going to have to give him, he won't get the whole 50, but you're going to have to
Yeah,
at
he
least
won't
give
get a
him like
max deal.
35.
Yeah, he'll be on like a Baker Mayfield contract. Absolutely.
That's tough. Yeah, I'm really see how it's going to play out because I like JJ McCarthy a lot. And if the Vikings are doing well, that means he's not getting in. And so it's a double-edged sword. I want to see him get in and play. I mean, obviously, I think he could do whatever the fuck Sam Darnold's doing anyway. But the Packers haven't looked so good. Uh, they Romeo Dobbs skipped practice because he wasn't okay with his role with the team. Then he got suspended for skipping practice. Very weird. I actually looked up too. He's like 3rd in targets and 3rd in receptions. Like, what the hell? What are you, TO? Like, what the fuck? Like, how many catches do you want to fucking like? I understand. Like, it's like, dude, like, and like the Packers like are gloated. Like, their thing was like, we've got 3 number 1 wide receivers. Like, so it's like, what the fuck did you think? Like, you think you're the guy? So that was interesting. They got a little turmoil going on over there. Jordan Love coming back from injury. They haven't looked as dominating as years past. Um, but yeah, and I'm looking forward to some of those games. But we got Jags, and then who's after the Jags? Somebody not
The
good.
Commanders.
Commanders. Oh, what was that Monday night too, right? Big game. Caleb versus Jaden Daniels Monday night. Two MVP candidates to battle it out for the Heisman. But all right, like, follow, subscribe. You keep showing us the support, even though YouTube's trying to take us down, but we will combat them.
Yeah, we hit 1 million views.
Yes, yeah, I forgot. We finally hit over 1 million views. Been less than 2 years. So again, keep up story. Appreciate everybody who's been watching, all the new people. I know a lot of people have been coming over from reels I've been putting that aren't Bears related. As the season goes on, we'll usually talk a little bit more than just Bears. But like I said, like, follow, subscribe. I'll see you next week, buddy.
See you next week.